Luís Azevedo, a journalist, went through a near-death experience after suffering a heart attack. This experience forever changed his perspective on existence and what comes after it. The most incredible part is that the intelligences he encountered on the other side dictated his future, even though the doctors did not expect him to survive. In that place, the beings showed him that the moments of anguish and uncertainty in life actually had an important impact, leading him to a new understanding of the true meaning of life. Hello, I'm Marcus, and it's a pleasure to welcome you here to Beyond the Life We Live. I hope you feel at home and absorb the lesson from the story we're about to tell. By the way, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as it's very important to us, helping us bring new and impactful stories to you. In 2015, while taking his wife to work, Luís felt an intense pain in his chest, which soon worsened. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, he returned home and tried to rest, but the pain kept increasing, along with symptoms such as vomiting and diarrhea. Luís called his wife, asking her to come back immediately with help, and a friend decided to take him to the hospital. Luís was taken to a small-town hospital with few resources and no CT scanner. The doctor who attended him took about 6 hours doing enzyme tests to confirm the heart attack, which caused a lot of time to be wasted. During this period, he fainted several times while receiving medication. When the tests finally confirmed the heart attack, the doctor looked visibly scared, and Luís was immediately transferred to a better-equipped hospital in another city. In the ambulance, the doctor was visibly worried, administering medication while his wife and friends followed in a car. At this hospital, a medical team was waiting for him, and he was taken directly to surgery. Along the way, Luís had several blackouts, but was conscious at times, feeling a lot of pain. The surgery was difficult, and the doctor faced complications in accessing the point where the heart attack occurred. He recalls the worry in the doctor's eyes before the anesthesia, and then he blacked out, starting his NDE. Luís describes that he was simply turned off. Moments before, he was extremely scared, feeling cold and afraid of dying, realizing the seriousness of the situation by the doctor's gaze, and suddenly felt a profound silence. Although he no longer saw himself in his body, his thoughts still flowed perfectly, including his concerns. One of them involved the future of his family and financial matters. However, unlike many near-death experiences, he didn't see himself leaving his body. He only describes this feeling of being turned off, in which, although he didn't see himself leaving his body, after the total silence, he started to hear everything happening around him with much greater precision, as if he were in a higher state, slightly above the situation. He couldn't define this place, but he knew he was in deep peace while listening to the sounds of the surgery and thinking about his family. Over time in this place, he began to feel the presence of what he identified more as intelligences. These beings surrounded him with a sense of profound love, and his anguish and fear started to fade away. The closest description he could give of this experience was as if he were receiving a hug from someone he loves deeply, bringing relief and calm at the moment of greatest despair. This was the most remarkable part of his experience, the feeling of being deeply protected and loved. Then he realized that in total, there were 12 of these beings. One detail is that he felt a pleasant temperature. He felt a contrast between the physical cold and the inner warmth, as if he were spiritually heated. He then started to have a mental dialogue with the beings while also hearing what was happening at the hospital. His mind operated without the need for words, and the beings he saw seemed to communicate with him through waves of thought, directly responding to his doubts. When thinking about his childhood, he saw scenes from his past as if he were reliving specific moments, feeling like he was going back in time. He saw himself as a child who, at certain moments, hadn't been easy for his mother. But soon the intelligences showed him a different perspective, making him see that he had been a loved, protected child who, despite his difficulties, was surrounded by care from his family. While reliving these moments, Luís reflects on the challenges he faced, like the fight with his stepfather and his mother's separation. But even amid the negative thoughts, the intelligences showed him the opposite. 3D scenes where he was a good son, a good student, and a good neighbor, challenging his own negative perceptions. As time progressed, Luís thought about his divorce and the emotional impact it had, feeling destroyed, thinking he had failed as a husband. But the beings showed him scenes of moments when he had been a good provider, father, and husband. And every time he brought up a negative memory, the intelligences showed him another scene, a more positive one, filling him with a sense of love and understanding. When he thought about his career as a journalist and the impact it had, believing he might have wasted his life, the beings reminded him of many people he had helped, people he didn't even remember. Among them, there was a moment when he helped a man over 60 who came to the radio looking for help. The man was desperate because he didn't have money to buy medicine for a serious illness. Seeing his need, he decided to help him live on the air, even against the radio station director's will. Upon hearing the situation, a local pharmacy offered the medication for free for a year. The gesture of solidarity impacted the man, who still prays and thanks Luís every day. When there were no more negative stories to remember, he felt his journey was coming to an end. But to his surprise, one of the beings told him,
"Luís, your story is just beginning."
Then he felt a sensation of an indescribable mixture of gratitude, love, affection, and happiness, something that human words couldn't fully express. After waking up in the ICU, Luís was told that the doctor had said his condition was very serious and that he probably wouldn't survive more than 3 months. He also mentioned that Luís's state was so grave that he wondered how he was still alive. This, however, didn't come to pass, and Luís continues to live. After this period, he realized that his near-death experience had profoundly transformed him. Because even though he was once skeptical and rational, he now believes there is something beyond this life, something involving a higher love and intelligence, and that life doesn't end after death.